airplanes, everything. We have to continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host this news every morning.
And a Golden Angel Award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome to the East-West show, Judge丨on the East-West, which is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated a brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of the number one craftsman on the global earth. Together, the name Wolfer stands as a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. To the show. Today with me is my dear friend and a person you see quite often, former mayor of last year and now council member of the beautiful city of Monterey Park, Mr. Peter Chang.
Thank you for having me into your show.
Welcome to my show.
Thank you.
You know, I kept on wondering how time flies, right? I thought it was about 2 years ago, 1 year ago, I'm here promoting him for his campaign, but I just learned, well, he has been there for 7 years already.
Right, time goes fast. I remember before I became the city council, I was here, and now it's 7 years down the road, and everything's a lot better.
You make me feel older.
Well, same feeling.
Getting older fast.
Right.
All right, good.
But you look good.
Oh, thank you very much. Good. All right, anyway, to lots of my audiences, I believe in United States, even in China, or especially in China, nobody doesn't know Monterey Park. Everybody knows in California, there's a beautiful city, Monterey Park, right? Your land, your traffic, your everything, except your housing price, right? So everything that people like. So tell me, for the past years, what did you do to make the name of Monterey Park deserve the reputation?
Oh, there's a lot of things.
Oh, yeah?
And we were so happy that Monterey Park was chosen the third best city to live in the whole United States of America. Third rating. So that was great. And the reason is that many things. The quality of living, the public safety factors, the friendliness of the city hall and the residents, all those things add to the quality of living in city of Monterey Park. And people are enjoying it.
And it's a city of history.
Right.
And I would say glorious history. And a city of tradition, a beautiful tradition. And also, speaking of tradition though, with your residents, I mean, maybe more than 60% of Asian Americans, right?
Yes. It's a very diverse city. According to the 2010 census, well, 2020 is coming up.
2020 is coming out.
Right. 10 years we have a census. But according to the last census, 67% are Asians.
Oh, 67. Right. I thought Rosemead was the one with the most Asian Americans.
No, still Monterey Park is the most Asians in the city.
I see. Is it a benefit to deal with that many Asian Americans, or is that a disadvantage to deal with that many?
Well, I cannot say it's an advantage or disadvantage because we have to deal with the situation. That's the situation,
That's
right?
Fair.
That we
That's
have to
fair,
deal
right?
with that. But it brings in the diversity, brings in different cultures, and so that we can learn from each other and go from there. And like just a week ago, we have the Chinese Lunar Year Festival.
Oh, yeah.
Over 200 people
For 2
came
days.
to Monterey Park, yes.
For 2 days.
And it was a big success.
Oh, over 200,000 people
Over 200,000.
attended. I saw that on the paper, on the news, on TV, and everything. And by the way, I was there.
Oh, yeah, I was there too.
And I spent quite a few dollars.
Thank you for that.
All right, good. So to look back for your past 7 years, though, I know it's not an easy job, right? For a council member or mayor for that size of a city, it's not a hard job to do. So to look back of the past 7 years, what was the most glorious time that you feel about yourself? You feel proud about yourself?
Well, I can say when I was first elected, 2013, of course, as you say, 13.
Yeah.
That's 7 years ago. And it was in a chaos. The city was divided, economy was bad, city hall closes on Fridays. Employees, even police, firefighters, they got layoffs, furloughs, salary cuts. Things are not good. But what I felt is the best, and I feel proud of my doing, is I unite the city together. And once you are not fighting each other, you're united, you work together, regardless of a city, a country, a company, a family, when you're working together as a unit, good things will follow. And so after so many years, and the city comes to what we have, and we achieved the third best city to live in. That's the good rating, and which I am very proud of.
I believe in this whole time interval, your character of being a amicable person, not a progressive person. I'm not saying being progressive is bad. I'm talking about manner-wise, the character. Would that help?
Oh yeah, because there's so many different voices, different opinions, suggestions, ideas, and you just have to pick the best, go with the best solution, and so you pick this idea, that idea, and then filter through it, and then come up with the best solution for the city. And you listen to all kinds of voices, all kinds of suggestions, good or bad, against your view or with your ideas. You just have to listen. You don't mean everything.
Lots of compromise to be made, right?
Exactly. That is what I am doing for so many years, just to have compromises, give somewhere, take in somewhere, and then you have a consensus.
And I noticed that as city council members, you have lots of new blood.
Going to be.
Going to be, right?
Yes. It's been like that when we were elected in 2013 until now. There's no change. And then this election in March, in a month and a half, it will be a big change.
I see. You're not running that in re-election, are you?
No, I still have 2 more years to go.
You still have 2 more years to go.
So people have to deal with me.
Back then, many years ago, I was on the field as a reporter, right? Every time when there is a conference whatsoever, in the press conference of Monterey Park, we all rush go there because we expect to see lots of differences, lots of arguments, right? Still the same?
Yes. But I think that's healthy.
All right.
That is good because you have bring the good out of the people, out of the candidates, without competition, without any persons against you or opinions against you. Then you will think that you're best of the world, top of the world, but actually you're not. So you have to listen to the people, listen to what's going on, and do better job. Because with oppositions, then you know what's outside there. And I think that's good. That's healthy.
All right.
And I welcome all kinds of...
That's even the healthy part.
Exactly.
That's the beauty of democracy.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah, we should promote that instead of, you just put your name out and no opposition, and then you don't do a good job.
That's quite a challenge to concept. I would probably have a little something to say to my audiences on my side, or to take it from the Asian culture side though. They want everything peace, 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 peace. Being quiet means peace. However, the Western democracy, when they talk about peace, well, there's the other kind of peace, the peace during competition.
Right.
With the different views,
Right.
with the argument, which goes on and on. Well, you're talking about, after all, checks and the balances, right?
That is good.
That is the kind of peace. I'm very glad I asked the question. I'm very happy about the answer you just gave me, right? So today with me, my dear friends, is my beloved brother and dear friend to the community, former mayor and now council member of the beautiful city, Monterey Park. We take a little moment out. When we come back, we have three major issues to talk about that beautiful city. Stay with us.
Le bijou icône de Philippe Wolfers qui date de 1902. Il faut la regarder contre la lumière pour avoir toutes les couleurs de ce bijou qui est extraordinaire. Avec les opales, c'est un thème très à la mode, à la période Art Nouveau. On voit en argenterie, mais aussi en peinture. Et ça a à voir aussi quelque chose un peu symbolique. Libellule, c'est très belle quand on la voit de loin, mais quand on l'approche, c'est comme un dragon en anglais. On dit un dragonfly.
C'est une des grandes figures de l'Art Nouveau. Et cette pièce, mieux que n'importe quelle autre, témoigne de sa virtuosité. L'opulence, le raffinement, les courbes et les couleurs, et puis le thème aussi, qui raconte une époque. Libellule a été réinterprétée, plus légère, mais c'est bien à son aïeul qu'elle fait référence, une pièce désormais accessible à tous, puisqu'elle est passée de la boutique au musée.
Called James. I host this new
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely fellow Californians, fellow citizens of California. Welcome back to the show talking about California, especially if you happen to be in Southern California, though. You will not know the name of Monterey Park. It's a beautiful city. I know I love it. I live right across, because on the same street of New Avenue, the west side being
Monterey Park,
east side being Rosemead.
Right.
Right. Sometimes I choose to stand in the middle of the road, but it's cold there. Anyway. All right, now, I care about Monterey Park, and I've been watching Monterey Park for quite so many years, right? Monterey Park, and I can comfortably tell you Monterey Park is doing beautifully. Right now, the city, according to Peter, there are three major measures or issues or proposals whatsoever. What's going on?
Okay, we have the three measures that will be put on the March ballot for the residents or the voters of Monterey Park to vote on. Now, I will talk about the three at the same time. So number one, there's a sales tax increase. Now,
Sales tax increase.
of course, no one likes a tax increase.
Yeah, don't scare me.
I know.
All right.
Now, let me explain that. Right now, the city of Monterey Park and many other cities are charging 9.5% sales tax on what you buy, what you eat, you know, anything that you spend, there will be 9.5%
Sales tax, anyway.
sales tax imposed on it. Now, that's 9.5%. The city only receives 1% of that 9.5%. And the 8.5% will go to the state, the county, and school districts and many other entities. So the city receives only 1%. Now, the last 2 years or so, the county has imposed many measures that increase the sales tax. Before, it was only 8%, 8.5%. But remember, there's a homeless issue. The measure H, there's a 0.5% increase that the voters has passed last year. And also the park initiative, that's also passed. So the sales tax is increasing. Now, the state of California has a maximum charge on sales tax. That's 10.25%. You cannot charge over 10.25%. regardless of whatever. But the state may increase it in a later time that we have no control.
So 9.5 with 1% on top would make it a 10.5.
No.
It exceeds a 10.25.
No, you cannot. That's the maximum is 10.25% according to state law.
All right.
Regardless of which entity, state, county, cities, we cannot charge over 10.25%.
I see.
So the maximum is 10.25%. So what we are putting out this proposal, this measure, is the voters to increase from 9.5%, increase 0.75%, 0.75%.
Three-quarters of percent.
To 10.25%.
I see.
Now,
I understand.
the choice between the voters is that do you want the money, the increase in money, to stay in the city or stay to the county or the state or other entities? So it's a simple choice. It's going to be increased regardless. The county will propose to have increase in the homeless or housing, which will be very big in the
But you have so many measures proved by voters anyway. You're talking about money now.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
So nobody can do a thing without money.
Right.
Now let's talk about money.
Right. In order to preserve what we have in the city of Monterey Park, like what we talk about, the public safety, quality of living, you need money to service or to provide services to all. Without those money, you cannot provide those services.
Okay.
So the increase in tax, that translates to around $4 million a year to the city of Monterey Park. So that $4 million is inevitable. The county will increase it eventually. So why don't we keep it in the city? So there's a choice is, you want to keep it in the city or let the county takes it. So right now, all the cities around in San Gabriel Valley, they're considering it, also put in a ballot to increase the 10.25%, or they have already passed to increase the 10.25%. So it's inevitable, it's going to increase. We don't like it, but it is there.
In other words, the city of Monterey Park does not create something new of their own. It's just a trend.
We just want to keep the money in the city so that we can provide the good services.
You'd rather do that. You'd rather do that, right? Okay. Right. What's the second measure?
Okay, the second measure is to earmark what kind of expenses that the city can do. Now, this is only an advisory measure. It's not bound by it, and we want to put it to pave the roads, do the potholes, improve the traffic, mitigate the traffic congestion. Those are the main things that we want to use those $4 million increase to use.
I see.
But it's only mandatory. It's not mandatory. But the thing is, if the people, the voters, approve it, then it's under the city council or the city staff is under pressure to use that money.
You have a timeline for the infrastructure fixing, right?
No, there's no timeline, but we want to use those money earmark for
the money with a earmark.
Yes.
Right.
So
that's very positive.
Exactly.
That's very positive.
Exactly. Because
you're looking at California, you're talking about money in, you never heard of it ever after.
Right.
Right? So with the earmark though, of course, as voters, as the taxpayers, I would like to hear that.
Right.
Okay.
Right. So that's the second measure.
Sounds good. And the third?
The third measure is the general plan revision. It's a land use revision. So this will go for the next 20 years, the developments in the city. So now, one thing I want to specify is the state of California last year, I don't know how the number comes from, but according to the state of California, it's mandate to all the cities in California to increase housing units because we have homeless problem, we have the affordable housing shortage, and that creates two homeless issues. So Monterey Park City was assigned 5,200 units in the next 9 years to come up with the number.
Now that you mentioned it though, do you have your own homeless issues?
We do have.
You do?
Actually, all cities
How
in California.
big are the numbers?
It's not as big. According to the official count last year, we have only 40-something homeless. But I think now it should be a lot more.
40 versus the city of 150,000, right?
You mean the
Your
city of
total
Monterey Park?
population?
No, 65,000.
65?
Yes, around.
Yeah, all right.
It's
okay.
not as
I
bad,
thought you,
but because Monterey Park is pretty safe, and so homeless people wants to come to the city safe. And especially right now with the public transportation, like the GO line.
a beautiful city.
they will
If I
come
one
in.
day become homeless, I'll choose to go where there is a waterfall. Well, on what street? The name El Pardo, right?
Yeah.
Well, that's a beautiful landscape.
Yeah, I know.
I can sleep there.
Yeah,
All right.
but that's the issue that we
I
have to
understand
handle.
today you're not only talking about Monterey Park, you have brought somebody that you endorse,
Right,
right? And that's why
right. It's Linda.
my dear friend, and also she is a friend of mine. We will take a break, and we come back. We want to bring her in, and I'll be asking you why you're endorsing her.
Okay.
All right, very good. So, my dear friend, my lovely audiences, today with Peter Cham, there's not that much excitement. However, the city is constantly making steps forward for its betterment.
Right.
Well, with the three measures, I believe none of them doesn't make sense. Well, they all do. I believe that once they pass, the city will look even better. All right, so stay with us. We'll be right back.
Continue to work on it now. My name is Paul James. I host English news every morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience, and my dear fellow citizens of Southern California. Welcome back to the show. Well, anyway, nationally, you can still watch my show wherever you are. Well, good morning, good evening, good afternoon, good whatsoever. Welcome back to the East-West show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of master craftsmen. Together, the name of Wolfers stands for as a testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to the show. With me today, my dear friend Peter Cham, former mayor, currently council member of City of Monterey Park. We finished 2 segments previously talking about city update. Thank you very much for that.
Welcome.
And I should thank you even more for having brought to my camera a candidate for California for LA County Superior Court Judge, right? So her name is Linda Sun. Candidate of Superior Court of Los Angeles County, Linda Sun, welcome to the show.
Thank you, Jack. Thank you for having me here.
Yeah, one thing for sure that I feel more comfortable that I will see one less long-faced judge at the court.
I will keep
It's
my
something
smile.
to celebrate, right?
Oh, of course.
Very good. So, I had first ask Peter Cham why you brought her to my show, why you convinced her to promote her, why you endorse her, please.
Yes. Well, first of all, Linda is a good friend of mine, and she's a very capable person. She has experience, and now
She hasn't paid you, has she?
We'll talk
No.
about that later.
no, not
kidding.
even coffee. Well,
Very
we
good.
can
Not
have
even coffee, right.
or lunch, but that's all right. But the thing is, as Asian Americans in America, we need to empower ourselves. You don't see that many judges, sitting on the bench as an
Yes,
Asian judge.
That's a strong point.
Right. So we need more people in different areas. We have to join the mainstream. We cannot allow those discriminatory ordinances discriminatory actions against the Asian Americans that were happening so many years before, and we won't be able to take that in as what had happened before. We don't want that to happen forever, not just to the Asians, not just to the minorities, but everyone in America. We have to stand up. So that's why not just supporting people to come to the legislation, like in the city government or state government or county government or federal level, but we also in the judiciary area. That's why we need Linda to be one of the judges on the bench so that it shows that Asian Americans coming the way. We are not the people that you can push off or discriminate against. We are at par. We are not saying that we are superior, but we are not inferior. We just
We're
want
part
to
of
be
it.
at par of
We are
all the
part of it.
Americans in America.
Very good. Now, Peter, honestly, you have convinced me not only by having led a beautiful city successfully for 7 years, you're thinking out of the box. You're thinking about California court. You're thinking about Los Angeles court. You're thinking about the fairness to the portion of Asian Americans because we're part of it. For that, I thank you very much.
You're welcome. We
I
have to
told you are a good friend of mine, so I buy whoever you buy. I told you that, right?
Right.
Now you have convinced me, not only I buy you because you're my friend, but you make sense. Make a big sense, right? So same question or similar question, I have to ask Linda why you choose to run for this position. And before that, I would like to start with a whole story about yourself. Your saving account, your social security number. Oh, I'm kidding. Don't worry about that, right? I'm not violating laws in front of a judge. Anyway, your personal story.
Okay.
In other words, who you are. Please.
All right, so I am a first-generation immigrant, born and raised in a working-class family where both of my parents were teachers back in Hong Kong. And they used their last penny to send me here for college. So I came here on my own at age 18. And after I completed college from UCLA, I worked for 2 lawyers before I worked for the late Secretary of State, Dr. March Fong-yu. She is a legend in the Chinese American community because she broke a lot of ceilings, glass ceilings, bamboo ceilings, whatever you call it, but she broke a lot of ceilings. So that was my turning point when I started working for her as her special assistant. After she got appointed as the United States ambassador by President Clinton to Micronesia, she encouraged me to go to law school. And I was totally inspired by her because she was an early champion for women's rights, for environmental protection, and equality for all. So I attended law school at her urging, and also I was inspired by her to pursue a career in public service. So after years of savings, I applied to law school, and I was working full-time while I was in law school because my parents immigrated here and I had to support them. So while I was in law school, I also got my own citizenship. After law school, I passed the bar on my first attempt, and I started working at the Attorney General's office as a Deputy Attorney General, and that is part of the Department of Justice. And at the Department of Justice, I handled all the licensed discipline cases before for the Department of Consumer Affairs. And I've prosecuted accountants, architects, nurses, auto shops, smock shops, teachers, you name it, we have them. Contractors is our largest client agency. So over the last 18 years working at the Department of Justice, I've prosecuted close to 1,000 of these cases, big and small. So the reason I want to run for a judgeship right now is because I have the experience. I have close to 19 years of experience working as a state prosecutor for the Department of Justice. And I also want to bring diversity to the bench because of my background, because of my personal experience, because of the struggles and the challenges that I faced coming to this country. I want to have a better representation for the bench. So those are my two main
Very
reasons.
good. And thank you for the courage.
Thank you.
Thank you for the courage. And I believe, sometimes being a beautiful lady is not so much advantage because people may look down upon your experiences. I never know that she had 19 years on the job, right? You look younger, that makes people think, oh, you are a high schooler, something like that. However, she has been on the job as a prosecutor for that many years, right? So you're supporting her, you're endorsing her, and I believe that you are one of the hundreds. And I just check about her website, the endorsement page goes on and on and on and on, right? All those big names without mentioning. Why you support her, not only because of her experiences, but you mentioned one strong point about her gender, her Asian American background, all right? So the fairness, right? So do you think that her stronger point being the part that she is an Asian American or she is well experienced person or both?
Oh, it's both. It's
All right.
important. Of course, we have to empower Asian Americans to different levels in the government so that we have a better chance in fighting discrimination and what's wrong before. Now, the most important thing I can see is she's a fair person. She will apply the law fairly, and that's important. And because as a judge, not like us, I can go for the legislation or ordinance according to what's needed in the city, and we go from there. But as a judge, you like it or you don't like it, they have to apply the law very fair, regardless of who's in front of her or what's the background, whatever. So that's the most important thing. And as you know, we talk about it, I'm a soccer referee. So just as simple as that, a judge is just simple as like a referee, right? Is that you apply the law to both sides. You cannot take or give favor to one team and not to the other. So
that's a very good definition. A referee.
Yes.
Law referee, legal referee, something right there, right?
Exactly.
Okay. Question. I'm talking about being a prosecutor and being a judge. There's a big difference,
Yes,
right? So being a prosecutor, you're simply one-sided,
correct.
right? Being a judge, you're zero-sided or no sides or whatsoever, or on both sides. So how do you handle the big shift over?
The transition. So I've been a prosecutor for almost 19 years. And being a prosecutor, as you correctly mentioned, it is a one-sided. I have been an advocate for my agencies, my state agencies. However, my job as a Deputy Attorney General working for the Department of Justice, I am mindful from day one of the mission of our department, which is to enforce and apply laws impartially and to ensure safety, liberty, and justice for all. So that the mission has been drilled in my mind. So when I prosecute my cases, I need to also apply the laws impartially. If I see a case or a person should not be prosecuted, I have the discretion and the responsibility to turn away the case, to decline to prosecute the case. So even though I am a prosecutor, but I have already stepped into the role of being impartial when I analyze those cases, especially when we deal with people who are not represented by an attorney. We help them along to let them know what they need to present to us and eventually to the judge to probably settle their cases. So we're not just one-sided as most people think that prosecutors are, but that is very unique in the position that I am in right now, working for the Department of Justice.
All right.
So the transition will not be very hard.
That answers only half of the question. The other half being, after all, there is still a difference, right? There's still a difference. Let's take a very short moment out. When we come back, we'll continue talking about the part that I refer to as, after all, difference anyway, right? So stay with us, please.
called James. I host English news here in the morning.
And a golden angel award ceremony.
Hello, dear friends, my lovely audience. Welcome back to the East-West show that is exclusively sponsored by Wolfers, the Belgian royal family, designated brand of jewelry with 400 years of glorious history and hand-forged by 10 generations of master craftsmen on the global earth. Together, the name of Wolfers stands for testimony to the spectacular and the share of the royal glory. Back to the show, back to my candidate, Linda Sung, and his supporter, Peter Chan, for LA County Superior Court Judge. I appreciate this opportunity because I learned from Peter that it is make sense to make a fair share of the legal system, right? To get a fair portion of a legal system where we play a role. Right, good. And to the candidate, from the candidate, I learned that she is quite an experienced person with 19 years of practice on the job with the Justice Department. Well, overall, doing the evaluation, case evaluation, prosecutable or not prosecutable, accepting it or turning away, of course. That itself, the process, is being justice, right? Now, I'm talking about still, there is another difference between being a prosecutor and a judge, that you come in zero-minded. Mm-hmm. So how are you prepared of the zero-mindedness? That was my question.
Yes. So being a judge, of course, you correctly also reminded your audience that being a judge, you have to be very fair-minded. You have to see things both sides. You have to see the coin with both faces. So being a prosecutor, yes, our primary role is to be an advocate. And we have to see things, we have to anticipate the defenses, we have to anticipate what the other side of story is. But being a judge is very different. It's like you're seeing your two children fighting, and you have to take a stand, and you have to make sure that you are fair to both sides, and you have to understand what is right and what is wrong while enforcing and upholding the law. So with my position, I don't think I have a big difficulty, or it will not be a big challenge for me to step into the role in being a judge because of my professional experience, my personal experiences, and my community service to the community. I have over 28 years of community service, helping the underrepresented, helping everybody.
Yes. I found out that you are, well, if I read the whole thing, I have to cancel the show. It's just too long, right? And it is a person with a huge, I call it seniority, right? And with a huge background. That's not a question, right? What we are right now just making sure that we have a peaceful mind when she walks in, zero-minded, zero-sided, to be fair judge. And on top of that, all right, being in the legal system, I don't know if I'm asking a naive question, right? In addition to being fair, is there anything that a judge, as a judge, feels obligated to promote? Hey, am I saying it clear? Being fair, say, hey, half and a half, all right, you take this half, I take this half, that's fair. On top of that, is there anything obligated on the shoulder of a judge to still promote?
So when we are being evaluated by the county bar or by other organizations about our qualifications to be a judge, they look at our temperament. So we cannot be a person or a judge who throws a temper for no reason. And that is also a very important quality, because when the litigants, when the parties, the jurors, the witnesses come into a courtroom, we have to treat everybody with dignity, with respect, with sensitivity. And number two, the impartiality, as you just mentioned, integrity. So again, my personal experience helping the community and doing, putting in my 200% or 300% into everything that I do, not even just related to my work, but on my community service work too. I want to be the best that I can be. So that is my integrity, that is my work ethic that I bring to the bench. And then fourthly, I have managerial skills that I want to bring to the bench to expedite cases that come before me, so that I can guarantee access to justice for all, because justice delayed is justice denied. And I have the managerial skills to expedite cases. I have the highest performing team of lawyers and paralegals in my office. And I'm very proud of the track record. They've prosecuted most cases within the shortest amount of time. So those are all the qualities that I have out of a track record of that I will bring to the bench.
Good. Thank you for the answer, and thank you for the explanation. And I believe you are a fair-minded judge already, right? And what I'm saying is that, let me try to use an example, right? In a situation like the following. Peter needs help. I'm next to him. I could extend a helping hand. However, it's fair, I'm not. Right? So, by law, it is fair not to help him, not to help him. However, from a Samaritan sort of mind though, does the legal system, is the law legal system obligated to promote the system, to encourage me in the next situation I may help him? So that is where I hang on while being bothered.
We are in a society where the law is paramount. It's a land of the law, and nobody is above the law. So in a situation where there is an ethical dilemma, a moral dilemma, that you, for example, if Peter is a drug addict and you want to help him, and he says, and he says, Jack, I need money to buy drugs.
He needs help.
Then,
for example, he needs help.
Right,
yes.
otherwise I'm going to die, and you're my best friend. You don't want to see me die, right? Then in that situation, I'm afraid to tell you that you have to look at the law first. If you help him by promoting his drug habit, by giving him money, by helping him as a good Samaritan so that he will not die, then, but that is against the law for you, and you're not helping him.
You never ask me to euthanize you.
But let me interject. Is the question that you were asking, the advocacy is the job of the legislators, the city council or the state legislator.
Not
or
a
the
judge.
Congress. Not a judge.
Very
so
good.
that is, they cannot
So that's
apply.
why I tell you,
Right.
never ask me to euthanize you, right? Or I get killed myself.
Yeah.
Anyway.
And judge has to be impartial, has to apply the law.
My dear friend, and to you, Linda, I owe you an explanation. I ask you on purpose to make sure that I see a judge mind, not a God mind. People like play God, right? People even adore those mind who play God. Oh, they're heroes, right? As a matter of fact, justice says we need nothing.
Yes.
We just need a flat surface of water, no ripple effect, no nothing, just water. Like
Yes.
that, right? Very good. I believe questions are answered. Everything is clear. So, lastly, I want to say, well, are you prepared to make some differences with the Los Angeles court system, county court system?
Absolutely.
And how can you do that, please?
Absolutely. I have the experience, a professional experience. I bring in 19 years of prosecutorial experience, but working in the Department of Justice. And number two, I have 5 years, of the close to 19 years, I have 5 years of managerial skills being a supervising deputy attorney general. So I can use my skills to help run the courtroom, my court calendar more expeditiously to help the litigants eventually. And number two, I have the personal experiences being a grassroots community leader. I've won a lot of awards, but that's beside the point. I am willing to spend my time to help the community, and because of my experience as an immigrant, I have the sensitivity. I bring to the bench my personal experience so I can treat everybody with fairness, with sensitivity, and with dignity.
Very good, very good. And you want to sum up why you support her, and you want to call my audience to give her a vote?
Sure. And you have seen it for the last half an hour, how good Linda is. And so I wish you will support Linda and cast your vote. Very importantly, March 3rd. So make sure to go to the polling stations and cast your votes.
So next time when you come here, always bring somebody good as her.
Okay, will do.
All right. My dear friend, my lovely audience, I'm almost convinced. I'm convinced by such a person with rich experiences, huge background, 19 years of working history on the job, and who emphasizes on teamwork. And now she's ready to be so fair that she will bring a pond of water, no ripple, no whatever, just be the fairness, a water of fairness, right? So, well, I wish her good luck.
Thank you.
And I wish everybody vote for her, all right? Okay, thank you for watching, all right?
you.
Thank you.